was serving takeout food. I got laid off in March 2020. TikTok popped off, started talking about how I was real estate investing. It blew up, turned into multiple 7- and 8-figure businesses now. Retired both of my parents, 11 properties, majority of them are luxury that I own. This is fucking possible.
Can you get a sense for the businesses that you have right now, the portfolio, whatever you're open to sharing? Also, I think the timeline is important too, because you only started doing this very recently.
Sure. Yeah, so I got laid off in March 2020. I was serving takeout food. Got laid off, began creating content around the trading space in about May or June of 2020. TikTok popped off, first video, 650,000 views overnight, and that's when I knew I had something. I built 2 of the largest stock trading communities in the world. They were online subscription businesses. I stepped away from that world. In the background, I was buying a lot of real estate and investing in Airbnbs. So I just started talking about how I was real estate investing. It blew up and has turned into multiple, 7- and 8-figure businesses now. So the Airbnb business looks like this right now. So we have 11 properties, majority of them are luxury that I own. On average, I do about $70,000 to $80,000 a month in profit, which is great because that business is essentially fully automated. What I did was, rather than going out and outsourcing and hiring people or just doing it by myself, I retired both of my parents for one day, and then I hired them back. It's a family business now, and I'm collecting 70 to 80 G's a month just from that. I'm gonna continue to stick with the real estate stuff because I enjoy it. The reason why I fell in love with real estate, I had a mentor that was in real estate that unfortunately, he was a rock star. He took his life. And it was like one of my first mentors. And he saw something in me when I was like 14 years old, got caught up in some, it was VEMA. It was like a pyramid scheme type of thing. Because I wanted to drive BMW to school. But I just was already thinking about marketing and sales and doing all that stuff. I didn't even know what I was caught up in. I just knew that like I had the riz of this business language. Yeah. So one day there's this neighborhood called Lake Sherwood in Westlake Village. And I'd heard a lot about it. Britney Spears lives there, and $20 million, $30 million houses like that. I'm like, I want to go there. So I tried 1 or 2 times to get in. Hey, I'm here for Spears family. They're all, what do you do? I'm like, tell them Blake's here. And they're like, there's no Blake. All right. So I came back and finally I found this kid that was local, and he was like, yeah, I got some friends there. We'll go in. And I'm wearing just like my get up, like just normal sweats and stuff. And I see 2 open houses. This one open house just like caught my eye. I didn't walk through an open house before. I had no reason to ever walk through an open house, especially on a $25 million house, I think is what it was. And my buddy's like, dang, it's badass. Let's go check it out. I go, nah, like what? Like I'm not worthy. Yeah. I can't walk through a 20. I'm gonna catch on fire like a sinner walking into church. So anyways, we park, I'm kind of like skittish, and we walk in, and he ends up knowing the real estate agent was a young kid, so they get to talking, and I'm left in this like, is foyer the right word? Like this big room with a view over this lake, and I'm sitting there, and I just had like chills, and I remember just kind of like closing my eyes and thinking, why can't I have this? This is fucking possible. This is out there. Some other guy that is, not smarter than me or not cooler. There's dumb people that make money. Yep. There's dumb people that make dumb money. Yep. So I'm like, this is possible. And I kind of just walked around this house and was, feeling the walls and touching, seeing this nice everything. And that was like a very like memorable, like pivotal type of moment for me, realizing like, man, I'm meant for more. Like I can do more, and this will be mine.
This was at age 14.
No, this is in college. This is like when I was in college. Yeah.
What have you changed your mind on in the last 3 years?
The things that have changed in the last 3 years, the biggest changes that I've noticed, my perception around money, right? Like thinking $10,000 a month was a lot. It was at a time. And then you meet somebody doing $100,000 a month, and then you make $100,000 in a month, and you meet somebody making $500,000 in a month, and you go, holy shit, $500,000 a month. That's like $6 million. And then some guy comes in making $20 million a year. That's, well over $1.5 million a month. And they're not working that much. Yep. So now your brain's going, holy shit, how is this guy pulling up in pajama pants, speaking at this thing, and he's making all this money, and wasn't he in Bora Bora yesterday? Mm-hmm. So, you start asking questions. So that's number one. And then I've done something, and I've been extremely intentional about doing this. I haven't switched up on who I am as a person. I dress the same. I act the same. I have the same friends. I look at this online content creator space money making space, as a flash in the pan, or like I'm a professional athlete. Immediately when I started making money, my goal was to take all that money. I lived at my parents'. I owned 20 houses before I moved out of my parents' house. So my goal was to push back anything that I wanted to enjoy and just keep fucking working and grinding and buying assets that were gonna give me passive income, so that when the song and dance is over, when nobody thinks that Blake is funny, cool, or whatever anymore, and I'm not fucking him, that I have an 80 to 100, 200,000, $300,000 a month to fall back on. That was my goal, and that's always been my vision. And so I watched a lot of people get caught up in the same space that, I kind of became friends with, and we're shooting the shit and talking numbers, because very few people can relate when you're on this grind. It's pretty lonely. They were spending it all on just stupid shit. You don't need 4 fucking cars. You don't need 8 watches. You damn sure don't need bottle service. So I just stayed true to who I was. I made a few mistakes along the way, and maybe got caught up a few different times. And I think it's all part of learning and growing as an entrepreneur and as a human being. But that's helped keep me grounded. Still, keeping a family business, talking to my parents all the time. I find that like giving back was what I used to really enjoy. Not used to, but like I enjoyed doing it. But I didn't have much to give except for my time and energy. Now I can give with my money and see like an actual difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to do like one random act of kindness a month is like this little goal in my head of like.
I think you realize very quickly when you have first, one individual doesn't really need that much, and then once you make your own money, like it's like, okay, well that's I'm good, and then it's like naturally you just want to take care of other people. And so that is a nice pillar of success. One thing you talked about, you were on a podcast, and then one of the topics that was brought, I don't know if you or the host brought it up, but it was this concept of the 50-50 rule. Do you want to explain that? Do you remember what you guys were talking about?
The 50-50 rule.
Here, I'll recap. So I'm basically asking how you're allocating your profits. Like 50%, I think one's like 50% is like, oh, you should just spend it on, you should invest in your next 50 years. The other 50% of your income, you should invest for like the next like 50 days or whatever.
I agree. Again, for me, it all comes back to living a balanced lifestyle. And a balanced lifestyle to me looks like, going on these trips and doing fun things. And it doesn't always have to be expensive. If I can wake up in the morning, go to the gym early, do some deep work, like deep work where you feel like satisfied doing, because I enjoy working. If I can go to the gym, do that, eat a home cooked meal, and maybe jump in the ocean, that is a perfect day for me. Everything else after that, and so that was all basically free except for my membership to the thing and $8 for a pound of ground beef. Now, there are some other things that make life a little bit more fun. If you can go take the jet skis out or a boat out for the day and it costs you a couple $100, well, then, $1,000 or whatever, fuck it, go do it. Life is extremely short.
So would you say then 50% of that take-home money is going to experiences?
I wouldn't say that. I would say the way that it's structured is 50% of my money that I get is set aside for investments.
Yep.
It becomes a little bit trickier at the position where I'm at, where you're probably way higher, but you have to have emergency funds that are big.
Yeah.
There's if stuff goes wrong, my expenses of cost of living and blah, 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 I try and keep it very low, but can I keep a business going for 12 months? I'm aggressively buying Bitcoin right now. Anything under 20,000, my goal is to have 100 coins.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to continue to play the long game because I don't need more. I don't need any more right now. So if I don't need more, and I do have these goals of like this house that I really want, I have this idea of this house in Hawaii that I really fucking want. That house is $7 million. I want to be able to buy that thing cash. It's going to be $10 million by the time I can buy it. I need to be able to buy it cash. How am I going to do that? Bitcoin. That's what I see. And so, not investment advice, and this is just what I do, but I really do believe that if you're getting started, you're younger, and you want to get somewhere in life, then you need to invest, like start thinking 40-50% of your paycheck or the money that's coming in into long-term plays.